She stood in front of the class and forgot every word. When I was in college, I met a girl named Sophia. She was from Brazil, smart, kind, always early to class. But whenever the teacher said 2 words, English presentation, her face turned pale. You see, Sophia loved learning English. She could write beautiful essays, understand the news, and text fluently. But speaking, especially in front of people, it terrified her. One day, our professor gave us an assignment. Prepare a 3-minute presentation in English. You'll speak in front of the class next Monday. That Friday, I found Sophia sitting alone in the library. Her notebook was open. Her hands were shaking. "Are you okay?" I asked. She didn't look up. She whispered, "I'm going to fail." I sat down beside her. "What's your topic?" She hesitated. "The importance of learning English. But I can't do it. I know the words. But when I speak, my brain freezes." I smiled and said, "Then let's unfreeze it. Together." We spent the weekend practicing in the quiet corners of campus. At first, Sophia couldn't even say the first sentence without looking at her paper. So we made it simpler. We broke it into small parts. We laughed when she messed up. And we kept going. She practiced with her phone camera. She listened to herself. She cried once, not because she was weak, but because she wanted it so badly. Monday came. Sophia walked into class with her notes in her shaking hands. She looked at me and whispered, "I'm not ready." I whispered back, "You'll never. Feel ready. Just be brave." Then, the professor called her name. She stood up. Her steps were slow. She walked to the front of the room. She looked at her classmates, 30 eyes staring back. She opened her mouth and went blank. Dead silence. You could feel the pressure in the air. Everyone waited. She blinked. Her hands trembled. She looked at me. I gave her the smallest nod, and she took a breath. Then she said, "I was scared to do this. Very scared. I'm still scared. But I want to speak English. I want to grow. So today, I'm trying." That first sentence was everything. You could hear her accent. You could hear her fear. But you could also hear something else. Heart. She continued. She talked about why English matters to her, how it opens doors, how it connects people, how it lets her dream bigger. Her words were not perfect, but they were real. And when she finished, there was a moment of quiet. Then the room exploded with applause. After class, the professor said, "That wasn't just a good presentation. That was a real presentation." Sophia smiled, the biggest smile I'd ever seen. And she said something I'll never forget. It wasn't my English that changed. It was my mindset. Today, Sophia speaks at international events. She teaches English online. She helps others overcome their fear of speaking. She's not fluent in the way textbooks define it, but she's powerful. She connects. She expresses. She moves people with her voice. What's the lesson? Maybe you're like Sophia. You study hard. You understand grammar. But when it's your turn to speak, your brain shuts down. That doesn't mean you're bad at English. It just means you're human. You don't need perfect pronunciation. You don't need fancy words. You need courage. Speak with mistakes. Speak with fear. But speak, because the more you speak, the more your voice grows. And one day, your English won't just be correct, it'll be confident. If you're preparing for an English presentation, here's what I want you to remember. Start small. Even one sentence is a victory. Practice out loud, not in your head, with your voice. Record yourself. Listen. Laugh. Learn. Be real. Speak from your story, not from fear. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for connection. You're not alone. Everyone gets nervous, even native speakers. But every time you speak, you're telling your fear, you don't control me. So the next time you hear the words English presentation, don't run away. Stand up. Speak up. And light up the room, just like Sophia. If this story moved you, leave A in the comments and share it with someone who needs courage today. Subscribe for more real stories that help you grow in English and in life.